right, welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity. Let's get started with the headlines. Governor Idris of Kebbi State assures parents and families of abducted schoolgirls that they will be rescued, as all hands are now on deck to effect the order of the president. Confusion, chaos, and crisis at the People's Democratic Party National Secretariat at Wadada Plaza as a new national working committee led by Turaki and Abdurrahman-led parallel ESCO face off over simultaneous meeting venue. Senator Samayanwu insists he still remains party national secretary till December 2025. And African Democratic Congress, ADC, unveils party secretariat in Abuja as hub for operational activity of the opposition political parties. The storm appears not to be over, not now, and maybe not anytime soon for the People's Democratic Party. Just few days ago, new ESCO were elected. Well, a parallel ESCO had been in place before those new ESCO, all sides holding on to court document as to their position and the validity and authenticity of who they say is the real leadership of the party. Now, yesterday, we saw all the news to the effect that both groups will be having their meeting today at the very same venue. And let's show you exactly what has played out just earlier today, and it's still playing out as we speak. When this morning we saw some crowd. You can see the crowd there. It's a mixed bag of everything. We've seen Senator Samayanwu had made earlier entrances, the place barricaded by police to hinder any other group from coming in, and this is what had played out. And so watching this video, this is one of the governors, Seyi Makinde, I see, who was approaching the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party. I did tell you that before now, Senator Samayanwu had already arrived at the Secretariat, and he told the press, look, I invited police just in case of intruders. It's a normal routine when we have meetings. Well, one of the governors of the PDP, Seyi Makinde, and the rest arriving, and then things have been escalating from one point to the other. We understand as we speak, the governor is still inside the premises, I think himself and Bala Mohammed. They can see supporters holding sticks. At some point, things were turning a bit chaotic, and boom, the police had to deploy tear gas. There you see around the area, outside the area, police presence, total chaos, confusion as far as the People's Democratic Party is concerned. The battle is for the soul of the PDP, the opposition party. The question now is, who is the authentic leadership of the People's Democratic Party? That is the bone of contention. Our eyes and our ears are right there at the venue or at the Secretariat, the venue of both meetings. The Abdurrahman Samayanwu-led group and the Turaki-led group, all meeting the same time, the same venue, the same Secretariat. But earlier, Mr. Anyanwu had briefed the media on his position. Let's take a listen to him.
First of all, I wrote to all the security agencies on the 14th of November 2025 that we're going to have a POT at NEC meeting. I wrote to INEC as well, with the acknowledged. So, and they have been on the news, and have put on television and newspapers. So, I don't know where that is coming from. So, if they decide, because on what premise is it coming to, as what? I'm the National Secretary of the party. My office is still running until 8th of December. On the 8th of December. So, ordinarily, I'm doing my function. I want BOT acting chairman who is here. We have members of board of trustees. who are here, who have gone for the meeting. You can say that's no problem. So if we start our meeting and they become an intruder, when anybody comes here to disrupt our meeting, because we're already here.
Interesting times as far as politics is concerned. Two groups claiming leadership of the party. But we'll give you updates as soon as we get them. Our correspondents are right there at the Wadata Plaza to give us update as soon as we get any. But as we speak, it's not a very nice situation. But let's move away from that. Tell you that in the wake of the attack by armed bandits, Government Girls Secondary School in Maga, Kebbi State, which left the school's vice principal dead and 25 students abducted, the governor of the state, Nasser Idris, assured that the government and security agencies are doing everything possible to rescue those girls.
The unfortunate thing has already happened. They have abducted our children. We have come, we have seen things by ourselves. And we see the parent that their children were being abducted. And we give them confidence, we give them our words that we'll do everything possible to ensure that their children are being rescued. And we also assure them that let them have confidence in us. And we'll make sure that the security agencies will do everything possible to do the needful. That is the essence of our coming to Maga, to see our people, and also to give them confidence and to give them words of encouragement.
From Governor Idris, we also see that the Chief of Army Staff has visited and has ordered his men, Operation Fasan Yanma, to intensify efforts to rescue the abducted girls. The directive came during his operational tour of the state. I told them day and night you have to be on ground to make sure that these girls are rescued unhurt. And the federal government as well has expressed deep concern and solidarity with the families of these girls. In the statement issued by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, the federal government says it shares with the families pain. The president noted that he has reaffirmed the protection of every Nigerian, especially schoolgirls, and which remains a solemn responsibility. The president has also given directive to that effect. Let's bring in our guest, Mr. Dixon Osaje, security consultant, joins us virtually. Mr. Osaje, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Jeffrey.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the program. So let's get started. For me, it's a traumatic experience for every Nigerian. We've seen Chibok. We still have uncompleted number of girls that have returned or rescued. We've seen Dapchi, over 100 abducted, over 100 brought back. Leah is still with them. A few others were casualties. And now we see this mass abduction. What is responsible for this new resurgence of this mass abduction yet again?
I'm really disturbed. Frankly speaking, this is a disturbing situation. And when we see issues like this, it also reminds us that as a country, we're truly ready to eliminate this threat, this existential threat, bedeviling the Nigerian people. It's so sad that children woke up early in the morning, go to school to acquire knowledge, and never got back home to see their father or their mothers. Presently, they are in the hands of this enemy of the state. And I tell you that the world is watching, and a lot of debates that emanated in the streets of Donald Trump last week. This incident is also going to, reawaken that debate and also inform a lot of people that as a country we are not ready to eliminate the threat bedeviling our people. Jeffrey, I tell you that if we are ready, we will be able to take out this incident. I'm also aware that intelligence was shared to the school authority and that they carry out some drill or whatever the case may be. But whenever you get an intelligence, for instance, maybe there's an attack in progress or maybe there's a premeditated attack, once you get that intelligence, the first thing I'd expected the principal or the authority of the school to do is to carry out an evacuation exercise, evacuate every student from that school, but that was not done. But for me, I believe that the Nigerian government will strictly, respond to this incident and bring them back home to reunite with their family. They must not allow them to spend 24 or 48 hours with this enemy. They are within the Nigerian territorial space. And the Nigerian territorial space is governed by the government of this great country. We must stop this and ensure that this disgrace, this shameful conduct that is putting us in a shameful light must come to an end so that we'll be able to breathe again from the east, west, and north.
What do you think should be done swiftly? The Chief of Army Staff has given his marching orders to his men to get those girls as soon as possible. We know that if this escalates beyond maximum of 72 hours, it becomes even more difficult because by that time they would have left our territory. What, from your experience, has to be done now in terms of action plan by the security agencies to make sure that those girls don't leave the perimeters of Kebbi or, I don't know?
Geoffrey, you see, we're not talking about one or two persons. These are human beings that can be captured by our satellite. First of all, there is the Nigerian communication satellites that we have in this country. Because when incidents like this happen, I tend to wonder where are our satellites? We should have about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 satellites that govern our territorial space that will be able to pick or fetch this kind of information and disperse it to our security agents to let them know where these people are hovering and where they are moving from. If our satellites cannot pick this advancement or this escape routes from these criminal elements, then I tell you it's a failure from our Nigerian communication system as well. Because every country that wants to succeed must have an effective satellite from the east, west, south, and north to hover around the territorial space of its own given territory. So for me, it's the Chief of Army Staff has visited the location. That was a good one, but first of all, I don't want to, maybe by tomorrow we are hearing about casualty from our forces. What they should do is that there should be an air surveillance covering within that territory, and they should pursue them from the air, from the side, and also from the land. And also this must be achieved with speed and momentum. They must follow these guys and ensure that they envelop them from the east, west, and north within that territory, and don't give them a breathing space. But first of all, this operation must be very technical and tactical, so that we don't put the lives of these children at risk in the area of, bombardment or whatever the case may be, so that they don't risk their life or get them killed. So I tell you, this is a commando-style operation, and the Nigerian Army should send in guys that will be able to, attack this criminal element and overpower them, then bring back our leads. It's not going to be an easy task, Jeffrey, but I think the Nigerian military should try, and I believe they'll achieve something.
What defies common sense most of the time is, for instance, the issue of the Dapchi and the Chibok girls, which is more in number compared to this. The Dapchi girls was about 4 times this number. Chibok girls was almost 10 times this number, or literally more than that. Is the ability of these enemies of state, as you rightly defined and classified them, to be able to move these human beings across borderlines, intra-states, and maybe outside the country. How is that even possible?
Just if you ask me, how is that possible, I will tell you that it's also less shocking. I'm petrified, I'm worried, I'm disturbed because Nigeria is becoming a country of particular concern, and that is the truth, because an incident like this cannot just happen and there is no response measures. We have the Safe School Declaration that was signed in 2015, and Nigeria was among the 114 or so countries that signed the Safe School Declaration. And the only essence of that Safe School Declaration that was signed in Oslo, Norway, was to protect our students, was to protect the schools, was to ensure that those who go to school to acquire knowledge, they are well protected. Now, first of all, before we talk about maybe pursuing these guys, we need to look at what went wrong. How were they able to advance toward the school and fetch them out so swiftly? This primary and secondary school within the northern area, knowing fully well the existential threat within that region, did they have a bunker where these children can run to when they perceive this threat, so that when the military comes for rescue mission, they're able to rescue them from the bunkers? Do they have any area, any safe haven or safe place they can hide these children? Not that people will just come to our school and just fetch the students as if they are fetching bread and sardine and just go swiftly, and you are putting these people in these schools. Every schools, every primary schools and secondary school must be run, must have a risk assessment, must run a risk assessment of every school to ensure that they have all the protective measures, the layer of protection to prevent these criminal elements or would-be criminal elements, so that they don't catch our children swiftly. Now, you only talk about how will it be possible for us to, fetch these guys and moving from the borderline. It's going to be possible if we are willing. The Air Force have been doing so well. protecting the territorial space of this great country from the sky. I will advise them to move with speed and momentum and carry out a lot of air surveillance and feed the ground troops of their, surveillance gatherings so that they're able to move in the right direction towards this terrorist advancement. So I tell you, Jeffrey, it's specifying and disturbing. I think it's happening in our country where we have the Army, Navy, Air Force, the police, the DSS, and this keep happening. And we keep playing jokes with the sponsors of this terrorist group. We keep playing jokes with their financiers. It's not an easy issue. This is the worst situation. Nigeria is in the worst situation. We must see this fight against this terrorist group as a worst situation. So we'll be able to attack them with all our powers and our armaments from every nook and cranny in the northeast and bring Nigeria back to its glorious days. This is disgraceful, this is shameful, and this is unacceptable in the global climate. It tells you that our security agents are not ready, maybe they are being political about this. They must stop that political game. If there's any political game going on, this is the time to stop it and call a spade and wipe out all the terrorists, wipe out all their sponsors and all their financiers and let them know that Nigeria is a no-no to this kind of criminal incidents. I am petrified and disturbed, Jeffrey. Is this our country, Nigeria? Where are we heading to? It's a shame, and it's a big shame. And truly, it is a country of particular concern.
Mr. Saje, although the nomenclature being used, but I think we can all agree. We may not agree. The policy may be divided as to what form of genocide, but it's literally like genocide against humanity. Christians are screaming and said, this is targeted killing. You can't dismiss their concern. You can classify it the way you want, but that is their reality. Now, I don't want to walk around the nomenclature for now. What I want to speak to is, does this give credence to the concern raised by the United States about careless killings? And what does this do to our effort in anti-corruption, anti-terrorism? And what do we... Isn't it time for us to call for help?
Jeffrey, I tell you, the truth is that it is time for us to call for help. Let's just bring down our ego, The Nigerian army has done so well in Liberia and Sierra Leone. I remember in 1991, my father was among the 65 battalion troops that went to Sierra Leone. They all came back gloriously, victoriously in 1991. We went to the airport to welcome them. These were soldiers that were trained by the Nigerian government. These were soldiers that have brought, glory to our great nation. We have gallant officers and men in this country. I'm still trying to identify what the problem is. And I will tell you for free, Jeffrey, that I strongly believe that the Nigerian army has been infiltrated with bad elements, because I see no reason why most times intelligence and information just go around the public space. Just like an incident that happened some few days back, how the information was just flying around. And I'm asking myself, is there no communication intelligence in our military? Is there no signal intelligence or signal management or communication management? How do we allow information, that is detrimental to the survival of this great nation, go out from this military camp, goes out from the army units and get to the hands of these terrorists? Because for me, I tell you that what is happening now, we really need help, Jeffrey. We need help. We need machineries to come and assist our soldiers. And I've said this on many fora, that presently the Nigerian army is overwhelmed. They are truly overwhelmed, because you can't have the army in the east, west, and north fighting here and there. They don't even know when they are going back home. Sometimes you leave a soldier in the front line for 2-3 years. That is an operational error. That is a tactical error, and that is a deployment error. Because when attack comes from this enemy or from this terrorists, these soldiers tend to abandon their commanders, tend to abandon their brigade commanders, tend to abandon their leaders, and everybody is dispersed. How do you abandon your commanders? How do you abandon your leaders? Why can't you fight? Is it every given time you call for air support? Then that is to tell you that without air support, I would say that the Nigerian army cannot engage these guys, bring them down, and eliminate them, wipe them up. Is it because we are joking with this fight? What is the problem? The problem here is that we need to go back to the drawing board and also assess what is happening within the Nigerian army. Assess what their problem is. They should call for help, international help. We need it. We need international help. This is not a joke, because we can't keep having our soldiers being killed, our commanders being killed, our brigade commanders being killed, as if we are engaging the United Nations or engaging like 2-3 countries. A bigger commander of the Nigerian army can carry out an invasion against a country or a neighboring country and succeed that invasion. But here we have terrorist groups killing the commander, killing our soldiers like chicken. What happens to force protection? What happens to force protection? Because if we have an effective force protection mechanism in place, whereby any command or any division that is leading or going for an attack to contact or in contact with the enemy, there must be an air surveillance, there must be an air support or an attack helicopter from the side, covering the parameters of the enemy and also feeding the ground troops about what is happening within that enemy's operative position. You don't just send our soldiers to the enemy's den and allow them to be killed like chicken without carrying out an effective air surveillance and also having an effective air support or air standby. It's disturbing. It's disturbing, Jeffrey. So we need help as it is now. The Nigerian army should just swallow their pride as it is now. We need help. We need mercenaries to come and support them so that most of these soldiers can also breathe again because they've been fighting, and they don't know when they're going back home. The battle begins from the mindset. If you don't know when you're going back home, in any given battle, I tell you, when the enemy firepower comes or the enemy attack comes, you will not be able to engage them because, hey, you're going to run away. You don't know when you're going back home. So we need to set the standard clear. Our operational standard needs to be reviewed. Our attack and every other formation, military formation application methodology needs to be reviewed. We need to also review our force protection, review our attack methodology, and also look at technology. Technology is very, very important, Jeffrey. Because if we have, I just came back from a global security exchange in Louisiana, and I used that opportunity to pay a visit to the World War II Museum. I saw a lot of technology that our military can use to ensure that they don't lose a single soldier in the battlefield. Because this technology, what it does is that it goes ahead of you, go and carry out a reconnaissance within the enemy's day and press back information to the advanced troop and let them know that, hey, there's a threat in 100 kilometers or so. So we need to go back to the drawing board and assess this situation, and the Nigerian army, the military, the army, navy, air force needs to synergize and ensure they coordinate this battle very effectively and don't just leave it for the army alone. This is disturbing, Jeffrey. Very, very disturbing. Yeah, well said, Mr. Dixon Osagie. Great point. In addition to all you said, is the fact that these guys have also gotten their own sophisticated weapons and even used drones. Even the last Chief of Defense Staff, under the last spokesperson, had alluded to the fact, though he dismissed the fact that they are dangerous, but he admitted to the fact that, look, drones are also being deployed by terrorists. So all hands have to be on deck, and I hope that these girls, which is the most immediate, the immediate priority right now is to get those 25 girls back to their parents. That is the biggest priority for this government right now. But we must thank you, Mr. Dixon Osagie, security consultant. Thank you for coming on the program. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless our military. Thank you. God bless Nigeria. Absolutely. Let's tell you how the former president of the Senate and chairman of the African Democratic Congress, David Mark, is asking members of the party to brace up for the task ahead of building viable leaders. Senator Mark said this at the unveiling of the party's national secretariat in Abuja.
Today is a defining moment. We gather here at the heart of the Federal Capital Territory, not merely to unveil a building, but to unveil a new chapter, a bold statement of purpose and commitment to democracy and service to our country and people. It is a physical testament to our collective resolve to build a greater nation. From this moment forward, this complex becomes the operational center of our political movement. Here, strategies will be shaped, ideas will be refined, and the next generation of leaders will emerge. From within these walls, we shall continue to champion policies that will uplift committees and communities, strengthen institutions, and safeguard the democratic foundations upon which our republic stands. Let this day mark the end of all divisions. Let today symbolize the rise of a stronger, more disciplined, more visionary, and more people-oriented political party with only one agenda, to serve Nigeria and to serve the people.
All members of the PDP in Taraba State Assembly elected under the platform of that party have now defected to the All Progressives Congress. According to the members, the defection is because of the unending rancor in the party at the national level and the need to align with the Center for Federal Presence in the state. Already, Governor Agbukefa has signaled his intention to defect to from the party. I think that should be by tomorrow. And just before we go, let's show you again what has been playing out. We are monitoring development at the People's Democratic Party National Secretariat known as the Wadata Plaza. There's been a lot of chaos in the last few hours, so let me show you what we started off with that has to do with some presence or supporters on all sides. So Sam Ayanwu is still laying claim to the National Secretary position of the party. He says his tenure expires in December 8th. You know, they have a caretaker chairman, Abdurrahman Mohammed. Well, the party has also done its national election. National convention is called and elected Mr. Turaki and his ESCO. So you can see Governor Sheyi Makinde making his way. So Governor Bala Mohammed, Sheyi Makinde, all in the presence, all at the premises of the People's Democratic Party. Well, things got very chaotic at some point where police had to shoot tear gas to disperse this crowd. So supporters for and against, depending. So perhaps what may happen is that everybody may have to leave the Wadata Plaza. We do not know, because all groups are laying claim to the leadership of the party and insisting that their meetings must hold today at the same venue. So you can see that tear gas all over the place earlier. So in our subsequent bulletin on Channels TV, we'll bring you further updates as soon as we get them as far as the development at the Wadata Plaza, which is the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party in Abuja, is concerned. That's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.